Streaming on TikTok. Here we go. TikTok.
We got
TikTok live
Equinox.
stream is so dope, bro. Wait, what is that?
Equinox.
Oh my god! Wow, I didn't even know Equinox had a drink.
It is a organic kombucha, raspberry and elderflower.
Hey, how hard is it to do an English accent? Or sorry, well, yeah, an American
How hard does
English
it sound
accent.
like you?
Yeah. How hard is that? Because it's hard for us to do it because there's so many different dialects that sound similar, like Scottish, English,
Scottish.
and American. I feel like Australian, Scottish, and British is hard to discern the differences. For me, I'm sure for you it's easy, but it's hard for us.
I feel like you could get it. So if I said, "Oh, g'day, mate. Hey, you how's your day been today? You got up early?"
It's Scottish. No, that's Australian.
Wow.
It's Australian, right?
Look, you've got to be better when you come at me saying you sound like you're from Australia, but no,
okay,
I'm actually not, mate. That's Scottish. See, you can do it then.
That's only
we should do an entire podcast where I speak with an American accent, and it floats between
you know what I've been
New
thinking
Jersey.
about?
What's that?
I've been I've been thinking about at some point getting my videos translated to Japanese. Okay, two things. I want to learn Spanish at some point, but I also want to like do some Japanese into the brain. So I feel like Japanese is a good language to know in this world because of how much techie people are over there. And I was like, man, like that might be something good if I start making a shit ton of money to hire like a translator for Japanese, kind of like Mr. Beast is doing.
Can you speak Japanese?
Yeah, but like, dude, not enough. The one time I did an interview in Japanese for a job, and I got fucked. I have never been more embarrassed in my life.
What do you mean? Wait, what?
The interview was in Japanese. Like I had to speak Japanese in this interview.
How come? What was the interview for?
Dude, it's for fucking flipping burgers at McDonald's down the street. Like I literally have no idea why they were trying to test me in Japanese. It makes no sense.
Wait. Where? In Japan?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I was supposed to be teaching in Japan.
That's what
I'd be doing that if COVID didn't happen. I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be teaching English in Japan right now. So not shout out COVID, but like, you know.
Shout out COVID.
I'd be a teacher. Yeah. Anyways, guys, welcome to Tea Time, episode 40. Crypto fake out. Where should you invest your money? FTX, crypto's burned. Solana's at $14. I just saw Frank put out a tweet. We're talking about a lot of things. Talking about the Twitter influencers that has been birthed. It feels like I know Twitter influencers have always been a thing, but we're seeing like not a resurgence, but like a wave of like Twitter influence from this like new group of people. Or these are like people who host spaces and stuff like that. We went through a period literally 2 days ago where I was like, oh shit, I guess everything's dead. Because everyone was saying like all these people were saying tweets like everything's getting really nasty, blah blah blah. I don't want to be here anymore. And all the main guys like I don't know about this. And I was like, wow, like that was short lived. That was fucking fat, like way faster than I thought it was gonna end. But whatever. And then they saw resurgence, bro. They had like a Twitter space with like 1,500 people or 15,000 people yesterday. So Twitter's been going. We've had the entire crypto market literally shit itself overnight. We had art gobblers that people already forgot about. It was going to save the world a few days ago, but people forgot about it within 48 hours. I haven't heard a single thing since like the day after they dropped. We have Meta with a couple of big announcements. We have Twitter with a couple of big announcements for the back end stuff. And yeah, it's going to be a lit show.
Let's show.
Yeah. Actually, let me Tom, just say something real quick. Let me turn this light on back here. Just
what do you want me to say? Stonks up, stonks down?
Yeah, exactly that, actually.
Stonks up, stonks down.
All right. We back. If you didn't click that like button, fam, if you're watching this live, if you're on TikTok, what's up, TikTok? Oh, shit. Yeah, TikTok, we streaming right now. Hold on. Is there a way to, like... man, I wish there was a way for TikTok to know that, like, it's behind this. You know this, have you seen those TikToks of, like, the weather people? You know, and they'll have like their TikTok live going as they're like doing TV news. You know how they go like every 5 minutes to do like, hey Errol, today's weather out here in Scottsdale, Arizona is 36 degrees Fahrenheit. We had a man tremble over another guy in a wheelchair as the rain was coming. Like they just say all these things, but they have their TikTok live. But the thing is, like they don't know what I'm doing because like there's nothing pretty on this side of the background. So maybe I should. Whatever. Let's do that. Okay. All right. Let's share my screen here. What's up, Andres? Andres in the house. Guys, click that like button for me. Subscribe to the channel. Join the kingdom. NFT Web3 related content coming out all the time. YouTube just crossed 10K. Liddy, super fun. The thumbnails are looking good. That's kind of the main thing I'm going with here for my channel is just kind of letting my YouTube look like a proper page, just like super strong. Like I want, if an employer comes, I want like, because now the fact that these big companies are in and there's such a small pool of people to choose from, it like my shit needs to look very good, like very good. So I upped the thumbnail game, as you guys can see. They look phenomenal. I'm really happy with how they're coming out. And yeah, when like it's like a social resume. If someone comes in, they're like, we need to check out this guy, and they're like, holy shit, the videos are good, the thumbnails are on point, the branding's on point, everything's good. I just put out this tweet a couple days ago and related to what we were just mentioning in the intro here. I can't keep up with any of this Twitter drama. Like, how does this keep getting louder? If you follow me, hope you're not wasting too much time in your spaces. And I meant degenerate spaces, the ones where you're not really learning anything, you're just wasting your time away. I'm just focused on creating digital products, services, and content that real companies are looking for. That's really my position in Web3, I think. It's one that interests me, at least. A little bit of DGen plays. That's why we still do these streams. That's why we so I still do like the Phillips stream to talk about some of the trading things, but I'm definitely way more focused on back end stuff, which is wild because just a couple months ago on Tea Time, that's what Tom has been telling me to do. And I was just like, nah, that's not me. Then I had a second part. It's so silly. Be selfish. Just work on your shit. Try to feel niche and grow. Build that business if you can. Brainstorm. Think of something here. This is all intentional, by the way. You have to sit down and do this many times to figure it out. You literally have to sit there and brainstorm. Me and Andres do this like on a weekly basis almost. You don't want to fast forward 10 years, realize you wasted a huge opportunity here because you kept listening to degenerate Twitter spaces and wasting your time. Yeah, that would suck. Imagine being here at the time when everyone was building all this shit. And 20 years later, like you're just sitting here like, bro, I forgot. You know, it's like, dude.
I have the same feeling as you, man. I sit there and I wake up and I see like a bunch of shit that's happened, and I'm like, I'm so glad I have absolutely no clue what that's about. Because yeah, like there's nothing more lame than dealing in drama. And yeah, just but it's great. It's fucking great, dude, because it gives us the opportunities. So yeah.
I'm down with it. I mean, it's whatever. I just hope people aren't wasting all their time. Like I sit there for a few minutes just to be part of it, I guess. But like, you know, anyways. So we'll share a couple of extra things we've been doing, and then we'll jump into all the shit. So you guys saw I just said digital products. Actually, I've been really interested after reading this books, like creating a couple different course style things that are sort of like a funnel, but they also do introduce and teach a topic, whatever that is. There's a bunch that I like already make YouTube videos on. I was like, shit, I might as well just like throw these into a like some kind of structured course thing that either I offer for free. I don't think I'm going to charge for them because these are all funnels back to my business anyway. Because at the end, you know, by the time they've gone through the course, they're either already looking for me to be as an advisor, or they're like, hey, we should check out his website and see what else he's offering. So that's kind of what I've been doing here and building these out. Because I'm going to be speaking at this event, talking about how to sell NFT art and stuff like that. And so I made like a part 2 kind of thing where I go into this Google slide and I say how not to sell NFT art, and I go into more greater detail. And in this, I hope to convert a couple clients. So like that's the goal with these courses, and then making courses for other companies. Like this is something, Tom. Oh, by the way, this event is November 12th, guys. You can go in virtually or in real life. It's gonna be in Connecticut. I'll be there, and just go to if you go to my Twitter and just scroll down a little bit. I've reshared it the past couple times in the last few days. So,
dude, let's talk about that. That sounds sick. I want to know more. Like where did that come from? Who, like, how did that come about? Like, you're obviously going to Connecticut, right?
Yeah. So I knew Craig.
That's in Alaska, right?
Crypto Dream. Is it glitchy for anyone? I don't know. Is it glitchy for anyone?
It is. You are glitched for me.
Really?
Yeah, but it's like it's just stuttery, but it's fine.
Fuck. Is the audio clipping back in and out?
Audio's fine. It's just the video is just like skipping a frame.
That's fucking annoying. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it's okay.
All right, whatever. So yeah, I knew the guy moderating is Craig, and I've done a show with him. Him and I speak pretty on a consistent basis. So he just like recommended me, and so the guy James, him and I connected and talked, and I mean, making a video. I guess they saw the NFT Seattle vlogs. That's something, Tom, you probably should push too. Like, I've been invited to a couple different events now because of the vlogs that I put out, and they're like, "Yo, you should make that for us. We'll pay for stuff, and like we'll give you money, and we'll do things for you." So like that's kind of what's happening here with Connecticut. Like, I'm gonna make a good video for them. I'm really excited. It'd be my first time speaking in person, so I made sure I was like, hey, if we're gonna be there, let's do this properly. Let's get another cameraman, so we show up with like an extra POV, and I want to put together a cool video, and still have a camera guy following us around. Sydney will be there. Easton will be there. I don't really know any other people on except for Craig, the moderator. But yeah, we're talking about how to sell MTR and stuff like that. So it's gonna be cool.
It's gonna be so sick. Super cool. When is that, by the way? Did you say 13th, 14th?
No, the 12th. So in 3 days. So I leave, I think, in 2 days. But you, dude, you've also been out. You've been out connecting and shit. You've been out in UFC, or how about say UFC London, NFT London.
Yeah, so we had NFT London last week, and surprise, we all got COVID again. So we're all fucked. Like Mark and Liam have been absolutely fucked by it. Gavin was fucked when he was here. So yeah, a lot of people feeling pretty rough over the last few days. But yeah, just like NFT NYC, it was sick. It was just like everyone, apart from actually being literally sick, it was a lot of fun. So yeah, just lots of parties. We hosted our first unorthodox party, which was wicked. Had whole host of people there. We got to meet Cool Times. He like rocked up to our party, came out of a cab, and was like, "Fucking let's go." Had his cameraman there.
Live there.
What's that?
Does he live there?
No, he's from Miami. So he's a Miami dude. So we had Gavin, Blockchain Gavin. We had Maison Ghost from Yin Yang Gang. It was absolutely epic. Cool times. So really cool to just hang. Yeah. So same. Franzi was there, which was amazing. So Franzi is one of the amazing girls that work for us at Unorthodox. She's one of our collab managers. So shout out to Franzi.
Franzi.
Yeah, fucking great time.
Let's go, dude. That's fucking insane. Yeah, I saw some of the photos there. I got major FOMO. Major FOMO.
Well, I don't know if you saw, but there was a bit of controversy because there was a whole load of FUD that came out like on either Saturday or like whenever, and basically it was just empty pictures of empty halls, photographs of empty halls, kind of like exactly like it was in New York, and lots of like chat about it. And the big FUD was that they had a big board of all the speakers' names. And the FUD was that there was more speakers than number one swag in the group. Yeah, of course, always the number one swag. Had more speakers than attendees. So there was like maybe more than 1,000 speakers. So there's a bit of basically the FUD is that these events, these big conferences, are just opportunities for people to essentially call themselves speakers, get on a panel, and leverage that. But the fact they only got like 10, 15 minutes tops. So there's no depth in any conversations.
Yeah. We
just did the same thing as New York. We just didn't go to the fucking conference. We had a fucking shit hot time partying with everyone else in different parties. So yeah, that's the alpha.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we expect. It's not a whole lot you can say. Like there's only a few. It's more about like the skills that you can bring in Web3, which like I don't know, like they only work in unison. Like you just add those skills to like Web3 things that are going on. How's Tom's so swag right now? Is Tom's extra swag that or something? It's just like a Balenciaga hoodie or something? Like
fuck no, I actually made this hoodie. This is my old brand. So
wait, is it actually?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm just I'm the swag. I'm the fucking swag lord. Okay.
Damn, brother. Well, you better start selling courses
then. Yeah, so that obviously, as you know, that is one of my intents, is to have a brand, fashion brand in the future. So that's going to be coming at some point, but only when I've finished being an absolute crypto bro.
Absolutely. Speaking of crypto bro, ain't no crypto bros left. Crypto. I don't know how to describe this, guys. It literally crashed overnight. So we went from I don't know, like pretty chill stuff to just the entire market being lit up as fuck. We saw, I don't know if Frank's comment or his tweet today was in regards to like Solana being $14, but it is, and that happened, and that's insane. Like thinking about some of these prices, like looking at Cardano's prices is just wild, bro. And like the fact that like I've been waiting on a couple payments, and it's just been like taking a couple days to go through or whatever. And in that price, ETH has like tanked. So I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Price is dipped below 12. Yeah. This is, it's quite funny because like we spent the last year talking, especially early last year, when frankly ETH was in a bull run, but we didn't even recognize it was in a bull run because we were so busy flipping fucking JPEGs. But like, yeah, that's a pretty spicy looking chart. We talked a lot about like buying the dip, right? Buying the FUD, buying the dip, knowing what the long-term thesis is that who knows, maybe Ethereum will flip Bitcoin. Maybe it'll get to I don't know, 10, 100K, who the fuck knows? So these opportunities, which we've been screaming about, we're the people who are literally there being like, okay, well, you know the score, you buy the dip. So when things go down, I'm surprised that there's not more people being like, fuck yeah, fucking let's go. But instead they're like, oh my God, cryptos, all the group chats I'm in, it's like people like panicking. And it's like, hang on, you guys literally are the guys that know the rules. You know the fucking rules here. Like this, you should be fucking excited because if you know there's FUD coming up, you can short this shit. And at the same time,
imagine if anyone shorted FTX. Like I'm sure there are people, but it's just like, I saw something. It was like if you invested $1 million a week ago, you'd have like less than 100K or something like that. And I was just like,
bro. Well, how about Sam Bankman-Fried? I mean, I think this was if the Binance deal was to go through, his net worth would have dropped like 98%, and it would now only be worth 93% less.
And 16 billion to 991. Sorry, Jesus Christ. 16 billion to less than 1 billion is the answer. That's nuts, bro. That's actually crazy.
Am I being dumb? Is that
what?
Is that 93% drop? 16 billion to 1 billion.
I don't know what the numbers are. I think it's it says 93%. I don't fucking know. I don't know. But yeah, his
anyway,
net worth
he's lost a lot of
dropped 93%.
That's all we know.
Yeah.
Someone do the fucking math. Bryce, do the math. Tell us what that net worth drop is.
No, no, a bunch of crazy shit is happening. I don't know why I'm making fun to like do things. It's probably why part of the reason that my here right now. Like I normally restart my computer, after I leave it on the other night, I'm not here, and I think that's what's affecting it. It's like making my shit weird. Like I don't know, is the screen like scrolling right now, or is it like everything frozen?
It's like it's taking a little bit to load, but it is loading up. It's fine.
Okay,
it's all good.
So essentially, guys, the story is that this dude who's in charge of Binance and him and the FTX guy have been beefing a little bit. They've been talking a little bit of shit back and forth, and then kind of just like out of nowhere, it's like, yo, FTX FTX says, yo, we like need help. We're like not going to be able to. We're going to pull another Celsius, another like every other coin that's been, or every other platform that's been just like halting withdrawals, doing all the things that you expect. At this point, if you still had your money on an exchange, I don't know what to tell you. Like we've seen like 4 companies do it in a row. So like, I really have no idea what to tell you if you still have your money in here. So it's crazy though, because they literally approached Binance and said, we need help. And Binance just said, fuck it, we'll just buy you. And I feel like literally 6 months ago, X was doing this. Like, didn't FTX just buy Robinhood? Or they were going to buy Robinhood or something?
Something like that. I mean, the big thing was back in like January and February when they started paying every single YouTuber that was in crypto and finance like 20 grand a month as sponsorship.
Yeah, bro. Like they had tons of money they're burning through. Now it's just like,
yeah,
where we don't have any money. I'm like, how's that even possible?
Well, yeah, I think it was May when like Sam Bankman-Fried was like, by the way, or I think it was July maybe, was saying how that I think they offered to float Celsius or like basically like help with their liquidity. They were like I mean, I can't remember, but he was like, yeah, by the way, we're preparing to be able to like cover the losses of other like other networks, and it's now they're the ones getting absolutely, well, they're getting sunk.
Yeah, I just don't know how this keeps happening. It's mass layoffs, which we're also going to talk about in a second here, are happening everywhere. And like tons of people are being affected by it. And I'm not sure, like maybe me and Philip talked about the way they fired some of the people, like through like silly emails and stuff like that. And he was more concerned with like the emotional side of like, that's kind of fucked up. For me, I was just thinking from like a logical standpoint of like, what if you need to hire them back and now they hate you because of the way you fired them? So in that situation, I kind of, like, I don't know if Elon's move of just like, I think the way it sounded like, at least, was they literally just sent an email out to like 50% of the workforce and said goodbye. And I'm like, that does kind of suck, but that's also what you'd expect from Elon.
I think it's pretty cutthroat in America. Like the American, you guys have like fairly cutthroat like employee laws where I mean, I was talking to my sister about this. I didn't know this, but like in the UK, like if you've worked at a place for a long time, you can have like a 3-month notice period where you will not be allowed to leave the company for 3 months when you say you want to leave. In certain jobs, they'll pay you off. They'll be like, okay, well, fuck it. We'll just pay you 3 months and you can leave now, that's always the goal. That's the goal is to leave and not have to do any work and get a fat paycheck at the end. But that's, I understand that the laws are set up in the US so that it can literally be like, hey, you out and you have to leave. And it's like, it's brutal, but yeah, it's brutal. But like, yeah, you know, at the end of the day, it's like that you have it. Like Elon is probably the most. Well, no, fucking. Of course, he is the most kind of most experienced person at having to balance a company's P&L. Like he has been at the point where Tesla was basically at the brink of collapsing because they ran out of cash. He is one of the best in the world. Like SpaceX, same story. Like there's no one else better. There's literally no one else better than him. And so, yeah, it's shit. But you look at Facebook, fucking, what was it, 13,000 people they let go earlier?
Yeah, they're letting go of a lot of people, dude. A lot of tech companies are going out. And I guess that's kind of why, like part of the reason also the FTX. And I see, interesting you're saying FTX, big investor was Binance. Yeah, that's true. They had like millions of fucking dollars in FTT token, I think it was. And he was basically like, fuck you, we're going to sell it. And then like everyone freaked out and then people panicked. And then FTX was like, shit, we're way over leveraged. And so it's a crypto dream says Fed is raising rates. So the business's profit margins are lower and tech has been overextending. So that is also part of the reason. Just over leverage in general. It sounds like. And then no one has money for luxury. Tech is kind of a luxury of food. Yeah, I would say they do have the money. They're just
absolutely. So that's absolute bullshit. Like that's absolute bullshit. Like there is always money for luxury. There is not money for like the middle class to be able to afford not what would be considered luxury, but like just stuff
nice-ish.
So they're like, okay, do I buy a new pair of trousers or do I just wear ones that I have?
Yep.
In that instance, that's not luxury. That's just affordability. Luxury, people who buy luxury items, I mean, unless they're the fucking idiots that don't have the money, who love buying Gucci, Prada, they always have the money. They're the ones actually who are making money right now because they are accumulating all of these assets at fucking bargain basement prices. So yeah, that's a lesson there.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I would agree with that. We still see Project Moon, dude. I mean, we're going to talk about one of them here in the second year, like Arc Alberts, like that shit literally flew almost 20 ETH. No, that other project, like PXR, so I don't know anything about it. I just heard people tweeting about it. Like, it just didn't do as well as Arc Alberts. So I feel like in everyone's brain, they're just kind of like, eh. Like it did well. Like it's at like almost an ETH, I think. But I feel like, I don't know. It's just wild how many things are out of your control when you're an NFT project, when you draw, especially like on a mint day. It's just like everything depends on everything. And you can do everything right and still get fucked on mint day. So like, in my opinion, mint day is just so unnecessary. I just don't know why they're doing it the same way they used to. I'm like, why is everything changing except the way mint day is done? And like marketingly, I'm like, why do you guys have to do it like that? What's the point of like putting on this pressure? If you guys are excited about this membership, just like open it up and like have a sick video, get people involved and interested, and then just like drop Genesis. I don't know, maybe you drop Genesis collections before and just like build it up kind of like I did. I just think there should be other strategies than just like leading up to one mint day. I just don't understand the concept behind why it has to be like that. That only really mattered and it was like that because of the way the market was crushing it like a year ago.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's purely a speculation move. So people, a mint day gives an opportunity for people basically to place their bets. They're like, am I betting on or off? Like yes or no. And it's an opportunity, especially when it's like a free mint, for example, or a mint where it's like difficult to get in if you need an application or something. It just gives people the opportunity to like potentially make a flip. I stopped thinking about flipping NFTs about 6 months ago, maybe longer. And I've just been focused on real world use cases. And to me, they're really simple. Like Kate just said, one, membership. But there are still a ton of people who have liquidity, who are willing to essentially gamble. And I think we're going to see it didn't make much sense to me earlier this year. There's going to be, we've spoken about this before, there's going to be a space for fine art and collecting fine art. There's always going to be that. But I just don't think this, like, here's a project. Like, what do you mean? Here's a project. Like, this is business. You mean it's a fucking business. I don't see how we can just keep on just being like, there's not going to be an audience who are willing to gamble on that kind of shit, because it doesn't make any sense. So we're seeing it taper off, man. We're literally seeing it taper off. Like, with less and less mints are getting minted out. So yeah,
I keep taking L's. I literally take L's.
Yeah, but dude, exactly. Like, but I'm the same. I would just highly recommend people just really, really think about, if you've been here for 12 months or more, or even like more than 6 months, like, you are an absolute expert when it comes to, you have got expertise compared to people who are in web 2. We ourselves, our guys at Unorthodox, know this, because we've been picking up the pieces for a lot of web 2 agencies that are fucking clueless, and they've lost a load of money for a lot of clients. And it's because they just don't understand. So I just say to you guys, it's like, you guys, Cade's been doing a really, really, really good job over the last like month. Follow what he's doing. Like, just look at how he's turning his knowledge into purchasable knowledge. So yeah, great. You're the best example. Like, you've been phenomenal at it.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you, Ann. I see a couple of the comments in here. Let's scroll back up to Crypto Dream. He says, I wouldn't consider clothes to be a food. So I think we're just arguing in nuances here, and like arguing like little silly details on like terminology.
Yeah.
The point of it is the mindset. I mean, the mindset right now is that people they're not gambling with like things that don't seem as big of a sure bet, which is getting harder to tell, because there's projects right now that seem to be super overhyped. But I don't know, man, like, there's just no way to know. Like, I mean, I'm sure Arc Gobbler's seen pretty hyped before, and they mooned. And then there's other projects where everything looks good, and then they mint, and like literally nothing happens. You're like, wait, I thought you had 200,000 followers. How is this possible? Like, how could you possibly not sell more mints than that if you have 200,000 followers, and then it's like, oh, they're all bots. So they're all bots, then yeah, nothing will happen. Or they'll, maybe the team has a bunch of money and they just sweep the floor and stuff like that, or they mint their own NFTs. But I have no idea anymore. Like, it's just a guessing game. And so
same.
Yeah,
same dude. I'm like, we're working with some cool ones. The clients that we're excited about, they've got genuine use cases behind them, which is, it's nice to like have that feeling. Like, we're bringing stuff to the NFT to the NFT space, or what's left of it, but it's like they've got actual use cases, like, as in they're and that's fun. That's like fun, because it feels like we're not just adding shit into the ecosystem.
Yeah, no, 100%. I see Ted in here. Why can't we get more live stream viewers? We deserve thousands more. Thank you, man. No, honestly, like, I mean, part of it is because like 90% of our audience is not even existing in crypto NFT land anymore. That's the main reason that most people aren't here. The other reason is most people just come in and tune in at a different time. A lot of my views come like the 3 days after I post. Live streams like hit or miss. Like with YouTube, with TikTok, with like all the streaming services, it just depends on like who's up on YouTube at this moment. Because it's not like, I mean, I guess I do stream on Twitter and stuff like that, but people don't watch too much video. Actually, this is something we should talk about. And
first up, let's just say thanks to Todd for that, because I was sick, and dude was rocking a strong beard that basically counts for 2 viewers.
Who?
Todd, is it Ted? Todd?
Who the fuck's Todd?
Who's the guy at the commenter?
Who's Todd?
Who is the commenter?
Ted?
Ted, fuck me. When I said it was Ted or Todd, I couldn't. He
does have a solid fucking beard, bro. I actually told a man the other day when I was walking to the gym.
Where's this gonna go? Where is this story going?
I just told him he's got a nice beard, bro.
I bet you did. I bet you did. You went into the gym changing rooms together, did you?
He had a nice fucking beard, but yeah, I said you got a nice beard. But anyways, the idea with Twitter right now, like if I post a video, it gets absolute shit for views. Like anybody, like even if Brett with 200,000 followers will repost a video that I post with him, and like 1,000 views maybe, and I'm like, how is that literally possible? You know what I mean? Like, especially because you'll have tweets that like get even more engagement. That I'm like, how's that possible that you get this like a less amount of views? And I don't know what it is, because like when I'm scrolling on Twitter, if I scroll for 30 minutes, I'll probably see 3 videos. You know, so like right now the algorithm is not set up for video. If you post a video, it just gets lost out there. Like I don't know how the algorithm is set up to push video content on Twitter, but my videos do absolute shit. The only reason I post them is because I know for a fact that every single client I get is because they are a one single individual who happened to watch my video and happened to be looking for whatever I was offering and then hired me. So the idea with like posting lots of content is that like only one person at a time will watch your content. And in that time when they're watching your content, they are the only person on earth that matters. And so you need to make sure when you post the video that when that one person, that hopefully that dream customer is watching your video, they're getting the feel that you intended to when you originally posted that video. So that's why I still post onto Twitter and LinkedIn and stuff like that, even though the video content doesn't really blow up or anything. And I've been doing it. I've been believing that for a long time. And it seems that some of my inklings have been true. Now Twitter has announced that, or Elon has announced that like they want to bring back Vine. And I was like even more excited. So I started talking about them even more. And people were like, no, it's not going to happen. I think Twitter is going to stick around and do its own thing. And then, you know, I think whatever. And I was like, dude, no, Elon Musk wants to take over the world. He's gonna, whatever he says, I'm just going to roll with that. And I'm just going to assume that he's going to do it. And I think it'll probably work. So right now he's working on ways to monetize everything. And so a lot of people are excited because a lot of people exist on Twitter. It seems that Reddit has been wiped out in days. We went from everyone's making Reddit to like people just forgot about it entirely because the NFT volume there has dissipated really quickly. And we'll talk about kind of my perspective on Reddit as well, because I made my own George Kingdom subreddit. Twitter user growth is at a record high on Musk's first week. This is interesting because people also told us that people leave because of this. And I was like, no, they won't. Where the fuck else are you going to go? Like social, what's it called? Trump's Truth Social. Like you're going to go to Truth Social, bruh? No, you're going to stay on Twitter, even though Elon Musk is the founder. It's just, in the same way, people say, I'm going to leave the country if Trump wins the election. No, you're not. Life's going to probably be fine for you. And so, yeah, Twitter growth has hit a record high in his first week under Elon Musk. It's because, dude, honestly, bro, we could just take this into another direction that has been literally the epitome of my brain for the last couple of months now, after getting more of a business inkling in my brain naturally, is that like every single thing ever is sales. Like everything is about how the other person feels. And like in that book, they really, really hit on the fact that people want to be led. And if you can just lead them and feel somewhat sure of yourself and they don't feel like you're not sure where you're going, then like that's pretty much all you need. And like when you're a leader of this kind of company, you just need other people to see your shit and be like, yeah, they're gonna accomplish whatever they're gonna accomplish, and I'm cool with that. I'm gonna put my money into them. And like that's really it. And that's like with everything. Like you're trying to sell anything. If you just go in with like a certain level of confidence and you lead them through a story that like ends up being, you know, persuasive in nature, and at the end they're like, man, that does make sense. And like even if you're the most experienced salesman, you can still get sold to, which is funny to me because I'm like, you can be so aware of everything going on, but you can't stop your mouth from salivating when the French fries enter the room. You know what I mean? Like, you know, the French fries are bad. You know everything about French fries. You know that they use these tactics to make you hungry before, like whatever they're doing, but you can't help it because it's still there and it's still going to work, which is so interesting to me, dude. Cause like I'm aware of it when I'm being sold to, but sometimes the product is such a good fit to me and I need the service so bad that I can feel myself going like, oh man, this sounds fucking good. I need that. I really need that. And it's just really interesting to me.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's like, well, that one of the interesting things, right? Like, so Elon, I think he did a post about how he wants to make Twitter the best advertising platform for businesses, and so one of the most controversial things that Apple did last year, which everyone was saying was like a move towards privacy, a move towards like kind of safety around data. He was like, "Fuck that." We're going to make sure that you get targeted with the right adverts, because why the fuck would, and I've always believed this, like, why would you want to get targeted with adverts that don't make sense for you? Because there are a lot of, like you said, like Cade explained, there are times, we live in a really cool time where there is innovation around every single corner and people have the opportunity to make cool stuff. Why would you not want cool stuff that might make your life easier in front of you? Like, the data is there to get a really good understanding of who you are and what you enjoy. Like, why would you not want to get fed the stuff that, you know, if you're going to spend money on stuff, why would you not want that? It's there's this thing about feeling about like advertising being evil, but when I've been on the back, I've done the back end of like Facebook ads, for example, and I know when I'm trying to sell stuff, I'm trying to target people that I know this is going to help them.
Right.
or like they're going to get enjoyment from it. Like you're not people. There's this weird thing, this assumption that just because you're trying to sell people something that thing is bad. Fuck no, it's the opposite. It's the game is trying to find the right person, get the right product in the right person's hands.
Exactly. No, that's exactly it. And honestly, I think it's just a lack of like perspective on it. It's like once you're on the other side of it, it makes so much sense. Like the idea of like car to car, or not car to car, like door to door sales tactics like that. It just seems so scummy before. And then I like kind of understood like what they actually were doing and what it meant and why they're doing it like that. And I was like, oh, okay, like this isn't as evil as I thought. Like it's fine. It's like,
yeah,
it's really
like
fine.
Like this door to door sales was a thing because that was the only option. The only option.
It works, bro. Like people, like it's because like it doesn't work on me. Maybe that like I'm sitting here going like that's such a waste. Like why would you do this? I've never bought anything from a door to door salesman. It's like yeah, but like tons of people do. And like when you look at these old advertising things, they're all the ones that are running on TV still. They're like the same ad, and they're like 30 years old, and people are like, why haven't they updated it? It's because it fucking converts 10,000 users a month. Like that's why they're not overdoing. And it's just like wow, this is nuts, dude. Like. Especially in Web3, like you just have to know a couple extra things and really understand marketing on a foundational level because all the big core things stay the same. I think it's Alex Hormozy who says like if you want to learn something, just go back to like the original place of inception and idea birth because everything else is just noise.
Yeah,
it's true, bro.
It hasn't changed. Like the absolute foundational elements of business just haven't changed. All there is just the way that data, the ease of access that we have to data and the ease of access that we have to platforms to be able to get people's attention, it is competitive. And it is a case of like, you have to be good now. Like you have to be good. You can't just be the one like salesperson that like door-to-door salesman that goes around your neighborhood. But because nowadays you're competing against 100,000 people who are doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
and I was going to say, just not to cut you off, but like, it paves the way because the real world is so limited in everything, it just makes so much more sense. I'm like, so because you're competing with all these random people in your neighborhood now, why would you not turn to the internet and just do it? Where there's like, yes, there's endless competition, but there's also zero. It's like you get the best of both worlds and the worst of both worlds, right? Like the best part is that like there is no limit to social media. You can post as much as you want. There will always be new customers, new people. Every time you post a TikTok, 80% of it goes to random people. You literally have no idea who could possibly see that, who could possibly give you that opportunity. And honestly, half the time, I don't know where people find me. They just get my email. And so I'm like, I know they're finding my videos because in my videos, in most of the videos, at least at some point in the caption or the video or the first comments is either my website or my email. And I'm like, okay, so like the only way they're getting to me is my content. And I've had people like tell me from all over the place. Like I had one person from Pinterest, one person from TikTok, YouTube, like all different places. And like with Pinterest, I only post like 6 videos and I just gave up because I was like, eh. And the fact that like one of the 6 videos landing me a client is crazy to me. And the fact that people don't want to advertise for like their digital art online. I'm like, what would you rather do? You're going to rather like sign yourself up to a real life gallery and have a bunch of old people show up, judge your art for like 30 seconds, not know your story or anything about you, probably not buy your art. You think you're going to have a better chance of selling art than me, and I can make a really sick, sentimental video on TikTok with sad music and get you to buy my shit? Like, no, dude, the guy online is going to make way more money to you than you. So lots of things to think about for adding and sales and stuff like that. What's up, TikTok fam? I like forgot TikTok was going over on the side. Guys, if you have any questions on TikTok, drop them in the comments. What's up, Jake? 50K. Goddamn. Jake's out here landing 50K deals. That's a fucking lot of money right there. He's also a crypto. He's got his own Web3 company. All right, here we go. Let's see. So before we dive into more news-related stuff, let's check out DApp Radar's top volume. So we've got OpenSea, 73 million in the last 7 days. Magic Eden, 27 million. So they've recouped a little bit since they're a little bit of, I guess you could say FUD or whatever you want to call it. X2Y2 at 11. Rarible, Immutable, CryptoPunks. And also, I think on, one sec, move this over. So for people who are on Twitter, I guess this would be more fun for you because every other week I do the show on Twitter Spaces. That's with Devin and we, at least for this coming week, we're doing a partnered up Twitter Space Tea Time episode with Chupapi Devin in partnership with X2Y2, just to do, I don't even know, I'm not sure. We had a good podcast. He's actually the guy that I linked up with you guys. I think you guys are going to meet him and have a good time. And him and I we just like, it was fun. And so he was like, yo, you trying to do like a partnership or something for this show? And I was like, hell yeah. So these are the things we've been talking about for like months. Like these are the kind of partnerships that can come just from putting consistent work in. And I think it's the start for like these kind of partnerships. Like, I'm not sure how partnerships are going to work for us. Like if it'll be more like on an episode basis. Cause like the problem is with this stuff, like it's hard to plan them. See you later, Crypto Dream. Appreciate you being here. It's hard to plan them. So I can't be like, okay, do you want to sponsor 2 months from now this episode? Cause I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what it's going to be about. But it's cool though, just to like kind of jump into that world a little bit. So X2Y2 will be in that Twitter space. I think it's gonna be Wednesday. So yeah. I forget where I was going with that. Okay. Come on, OpenSea. Bro, do your shit. Your website. Load your page. What are you doing?
Load your shit, OpenSea.
Oh my god, dude. Why? I don't understand.
Come on,
Arc Albert's went first. Okay, here we go. All right, the last 7 days: CryptoPunk, Arc Gobblers, Bored Apes, KPR, Friendship Bracelets by Alexis Andres. I don't know what that is. Mutant Apes, Snowfro, other deed. So you guys saw Arc Gobblers number 2. This is the one everyone was kind of talking about. The fact that this was literally almost 20 ETH a few days ago, now sitting at 3.5 ETH. So that's insane, by the way. And it's probably gonna get exponentially worse because this items is at around 2,000. It's gonna be at 10,000 at some point. I know it's gonna take a while, but all that means for the people who bought at 20 ETH is you probably should have spent that money on a coffin because you're gonna have to bury yourself fucking alive. Dickinson says Jesus save us. Bro, Jesus cannot do anything for you if you bought this shit at 20 ETH. I'm sorry. Jesus is sitting here shaking his fucking head at you, telling you you're a dumbass. 20 ETH, bro. Like, I get it. I get jumping in on FOMO, but like, you have got to think, okay, they minted at free and they've been running for 12 hours straight now. And this is clearly, if not a local top at 20 ETH, 15, 20 ETH. And K Money sold, and people like him are selling. I'm like, all right, fam, it's time to get the fuck out of there. Like, why are you buying in at 20? Like, for you to make a 5x on buying it at 20 ETH, you would have to literally sell that at 100 ETH. So, like, anyone who buys an NFT at 15 to 20 ETH means they actually think it's going to go to 100. I'm like, guys, there's like 3 projects that have done that. Like, it's like Bored Apes, Proof Collective, and I don't even know. You know, like just imagine the mindset of someone buying into 20th. Like, who are you? Why are you here?
Dude, yeah, I wonder that as well. Like, who is the person who has like that much liquidity that is coming in and being like, right, I know how this is going to the fucking moon. And they're like, I'm gonna buy this for 20 ETH.
Yeah, and for people who don't know the story, so with Arc Gobblers, I'll pull it back up real quick so you guys can see that. This is a project put on by the founders of Rick and Morty, which is cool. And if you guys remember, Rats was another project that kind of dropped with a similar idea, similar vibe, similar theme, I guess, just kind of like silly, goofy looking art. It's whatever. I'm not particularly a fan of this art. But they dropped it, and you know, Rick and Morty's got a pretty strong grip on people just in culture. Like, a lot of people watch Rick and Morty, and it's a little bit more culturally relevant than something like Rugrats. You know, low key, like, fuck Rugrats, because I remember the founder followed me on Twitter, then unfollowed me, and I was like, all right, sick, nice. And then their project like mooned, and I was like, bastard. And then it crashed, and I was like, karma. But I was surprised. I was a little bit surprised that Rugrats crashed so fast, and then I was like, well, like, maybe it'll come back. I don't know. Maybe it was too old. And then Arc Gobblers dropped, and it was at 20 ETH. And for a while, I was like, wow, like, maybe this one will stick around, like a Digidaigaku, crash back down to like 8 to 10 and just hold there. But now I'm not sure. I don't know exactly. Like, there was a period when it was at 20 ETH and people were saying, if people are okay and really believe that the art is enough, this project will do well. And for like a day there, it like was still holding, and people were like, see, like, people do care about the art. And then like 2 days later, it crashed, and I was like, okay, I guess not. So that's the state we're at for NFTs right now. And yeah, that's pretty much the alpha for those like top trendy trader projects out there. If you guys have any comments on the trading aspect of stuff, ask us. We'll definitely cover that more on Friday when I go on Philip's show. That's where we talk more about certain projects, trading. Like, I don't really know too much about that world right now. He's literally my only source of information for that, other than just like group chats that we're in, because I'm just not aware on that side. Like, I'm fully into the business side of it. I think me, Tom, and Brett, and I don't know who else, like a few other people are kind of like somewhat outside that world a little bit right now, at least temporarily. You know, like, I don't know what that will look like in a few years. Like, I always like the idea of being part of the DJing crowd. I've just never been interested in the same way everyone else is. Like, I always find like a little bit of a different angle to go in. Like, Tom, for you, what would you do, bro? If this would be an interesting thought process. What if the market came back like today? If the market just came
I was
roaring back.
Was thinking about this, man. Like, was thinking about this. Like, I think I'm doing everything with the assumption that it'll never come back to where we saw it in January. It just doesn't make sense. Like, you can't. Where are all these people like just dropping projects every day? Like, where it just doesn't make any fucking sense. It was just a speculation bubble. So the answer is, like, I would still keep on going in the direction I'm going. I think I'd just keep on focusing. Like, I would get involved. Like, I'd have some fun. You know, it is fun, but like at the moment it's not, because there's just like no dubs anywhere. Like, it's so hard to get a dub. It's like, you have to be in it. So yeah, I'm just,
or you can be in one of those group chats. Like, from what I've heard, and I want to try this, but I just don't feel like forking over the money because I don't believe it. But there's like a couple alpha groups that I'm aware of. It's probably just champs only and dark echelon, to be honest. Like, I don't really know of any others that I've heard of that's successful, or at least the floor price doesn't reflect that it's probably bringing them any money. It seems like those potentially are the only ones bringing them money, or a couple of those membership ones. Like, I know Crypto Gorilla's got one, like a monthly USD. I don't know if it's like $300 or something like that. And I'm like, okay, like, if people are still forking over a few $100s a month, means they've got to be making around 1,000 minimum profit. So I'm like, that means like they're still making money. And I don't know, like, I'm not sure. Like, I would probably do that if I was trying to trade and make money and still believe in that side. I would absolutely be getting an alpha pass and just like, so you have a couple $100. If there's a membership one, it'll probably be better. Like, if you have Crypto Gorilla or something like that, it might be better because he's got income coming in every month versus something like champs only, where it's a membership, I think, but it would be like a yearly thing. So he's not getting like a ton of consistent income from it. And I'll probably roll with the membership one just because it seems like that would be more stable. But I would do that. And then, but if the market came back tomorrow, right? So like, here's my thesis on it. I mostly agree with you, but I'm like a heavy, you know how there's like Bitcoin maxis out there? So I'm a big metaverse maxi. And I think it's because the first way I was introduced to it was Ready Player One, when I truly like accepted the metaverse as a potential play for a long time in the future. But for me, it's like, you know, everything's always about narrative, right? It's always about how people are going to feel about it. And I just don't see a world where, when the metaverse becomes somewhat of an idea that's somewhere close in our future, that we don't see a similar run with all these companies building out their new metaverse project thing, and whatever that is. And at that point, we'll have massive competitors like Disney. We'll have a bunch of companies saying they're going to be making their thing, trying to get on like the accelerator programs, stuff like that. And I don't know how big the run will get, but I'm cautious to say like a market like that could never return, because I feel like we only say that once we've been like an extended bear market, and we just don't know what the next run up would look like. We don't know how big it could get. Like, if it gets so unbelievably big and we're trading like a $10 billion market cap in crypto again, then it might not be that prices are running up that high anymore. It's just, that's where we're at now. Like, prices just are that expensive. And I just don't know what to expect. So for me, I'm just building out more and more things to give my brand and company more stability and more like credibility, I guess. And that way I can continue to land clients if and when those people come. I'm still that guy who does the reviews. And I'm just like a resource that would be helpful on a team. And that's kind of the goal. Like, the goal is eventually for myself to get picked up by like a bigger company and be able to experience life like that. And then eventually be one of the top brands. But that's where my head is at for that. What do you think about it? Like, what is your thoughts on metaverse stuff? Is that like not even remotely close to your
You're absolutely correct about everything that you're focusing on is like essentially what I'm doing as well. So it's what me, Liam, and the guys are doing. We're putting ourselves in a position where we're just playing at the forefront of this new technology and really keeping our finger on the pulse. But like, I'm purely referring to like NFT trading. I just don't understand where. As we've seen it, like it doesn't make any sense. What does make sense is digital collectibles trading. That fully makes sense. But the whole hype, drop, launch kind of thing, with the types of projects to the absolute dog shit that we've seen, that doesn't make any sense. But definitely brands coming in, dropping a digital collectibles collection, like fuck yeah, that's going to happen. But it will be like, are you a fan of this brand? Yes or no. If you're not, you won't give a fuck. Because but if you are, like, yeah, like, and so we'll definitely see that, but I just don't see the euphoria that we experienced back in like January happening for NFTs. With metaverse, you're completely right. That wave has fucking not come yet. Like that is on route, and probably like within the next, it's 5-10 years. I think
and play to earns before it. I feel like we'll see like a run up before that run up, which will be the play to earn, which people are like, it's like the in between, like the AR, VR, stuff like that. Like that's really where I see, like for my business, it's not as important if like NFTs blow up. Like what's important is like in the Web3 space, I have amassed a big enough credibility, reputation, whatever, to whatever those projects and companies are, they're still coming to me. That's the only thing I really care about from my perspective as a business owner. But everything else, like, I say this. We're pretty much we're just in transitional periods. So like right now, there's not a whole lot of stability. Like a lot of the things I'm building, the systems I'm building, I only have like a somewhat fuzzy idea of where we're headed. So like that's kind of like where I'm building towards. I don't have an exact future idea. I just know it's gonna be more digital, and I still believe in that. And I still see like the biggest companies in the world coming in. We're seeing Instagram and Facebook integrate NFTs even more and more. And that's why, because of all those unknowns, like I don't know how it's going to be taken by Instagram people and how it's going to be adopted by the market. And so like because of that, like we just saw Instagram drop their first NFT set, and the floor went from like a couple maybe $1,000 to equivalent to like 5,000, I think it was. And the floor is like 3 or 4 ETH or something. And I was like, okay, like that's interesting. And plus, we don't know what that looks like when they roll it out. We don't know how long it sticks. Does it do a Reddit where it only lasts a couple of weeks and people get excited, then it drops off again, and then people, whatever, or like what is gonna be that? And that's why I'm like, because I don't know, all I can focus on is being helpful as fuck and like thinking of ways that are being helpful. And that's why I did the courses, and especially like this is an interesting idea for yourself, because this could be something for your business too. Would be like if you made a course and figure out a way to make it really effective at, like, maybe Azuki hires you and Azuki says, we want to make a course for anime projects and Asian projects. We want to like have all this input and information that we've kind of dealt with, things that we failed on, things that we, maybe intentionally did because of the brands. That could be like a digital product that they have that they now sell. That could be like a way for them to onboard people to be consulting clients. It could be like become a launch pad, because now people look at them as like a pioneer and stuff like that, who even has digital collectibles and is teaching people. And that's kind of where my brain goes. But yeah,
I mean, the alpha is that we like, that is in our roadmap. Like we are working on that. And we're working on a lot of stuff, but like that is definitely 100% in our roadmap. Like with myself and Liam's got a background in education courses. Like
nice.
He's we've got a lot of stuff like we're going to be working on. But for me, it comes back to it comes back to the transition of like, okay, well, what can Web3 technology? And so I said this on Twitter. I was like, look, just fucking learn the tech, think about in real life stuff, and understand how it, like, Web2 brands or brands can leverage that tech. And there are loads of ways. There are fucking loads of ways. You just mentioned Azuki. Azuki came, recently dropped their like physical back token. So a really interesting use case on how we can do blockchain based verification of ownership via like physical and digital tokens. So it's like that stuff is quite clear to me. It's quite obvious that like every brand will have that, right? Like every brand will have that, but they need an onboarding ramp to get there. Mm-hmm. I've also, again, I suppose I'm kind of lucky because I can draw from experience working with these companies and them being clients of mine. I know that the process for them to take on a new layer in their tech stack can take a year, can take 6 months, it can take 2 years. It can take a really fucking long time if they're really big and they're slow. And so what I'm focusing on with Liam and Mark is trying to position ourselves for those big companies that will need guidance on how to leverage all different types of Web3 technology. So that's why I think it's really important for us. Like, really do go and learn the tech. So, you know, what Azuki did, that was a slightly different use case of a different ERC token. Like, go and learn about that, because, you know, you never know who's going to hit up Cade. Like, next, it could be a brand, and they're like, oh, Cade, we really want a cool thing where we can get an NFT and we want to have it paired to a hoodie that we're doing this next drop in. Fucking Cade's going to be like, hold my drink. Yeah. And like, literally just like, it's so the answer's there. So we have all that expertise. For me, it's quite clear. There's lots of different use cases. We have membership, we have gated experiences. We have like verification of authenticity. We have fucking so much shit. Every business, like especially consumers type business, has those needs. And I just see that. For me, I'm not thinking about the metaverse because I think like I've got some like theories about that. One of the main things is that I'm just not a gamer. So I spend all my time looking at my screen all day. Like I like the real world. I like getting on a golf course or in the mountains. Like I don't want to spend more time on my fucking like in things. And like for me, I'm looking forward to the augmented reality like revolution. I think when we've talked about this before, when these things become complete viewfinders, where they've got like head-up displays where they look like glasses, but they're showing, you know, whether it's token gated experiences. I look down on my feet, and all of a sudden I'm wearing like the newest Murakami like Nikes. You know, it's shit. It's all of that stuff, and that's going to come in my opinion before the metaverse stuff. But
well, I mean, for me, it's not even so much about like being fully into this metaverse. Like when I say metaverse, I really just mean like whatever the next stages are for social media, like whatever that next step is, like from the phone, which is what, you know, exactly what Mark talks about. He's like, we can't have a fully immersive experience with a phone. It's just not possible. You can get somewhat immersed in it, but like otherwise it feels awkward. Like I think for me, I think part of the reason is because like I remember growing up, I would hate going to like live shows because it wasn't as good as the movie. Like obviously it's not as good as the movie because they couldn't professionally edit it, right? And like there's no cuts, there's no.
Wait, is this like? Do you mean like a theater production, like a play?
Yeah, yes, dude. I fucking hate plays.
Dude. This is quite funny because I speak a lot with this about Liam, because we're like, you know, we talk about things like, for example, like why don't YouTubers, aren't they doing Twitter Spaces and stuff? And it's like, because we're visual people. We're like quite clear cut. We're visual people. Right. We don't like not being able to see people's faces. We like being able to see colors and stuff. And I'm the exact same as you. Fucking cannot handle plays. Like cannot handle plays. And it's like to the point where I can't do stand-up comedy either. Fucking like I struggle with stand-up comedy. BBC, some of the biggest in the world, and I don't know, man. I just find it
to sit through the whole thing.
Yeah, to the point where actually I love sports. I prefer watching sports on TV than live.
Really?
Just because I like the fucking seeing replays and stuff.
Thing.
I like seeing the detail.
That one's tough. Sports for me, it depends like how much of the experience is an experience, right? For like any, and this is for any event, guys, not just for like sports or something like that, but like any live event, there's just extra things that like give it life. Like when you go to a sports arena, you can buy like fucking chips or pizza or whatever you can get there and get your drink while you're there. Like that's always fun. And then you're there, like you can see the field right there. But I agree, like when you're, you know, either if you're in the box seats or you're watching at home or something where you have a screen, you are able to enjoy the fact that you're like, you can see the whole field and hear the commentators and stuff like that. Part is also cool. I'm down for both for sporting events. Like I'm down for both, I think. But I look at it more as like a whole experience to like go and like hang out with my friends or like just do degenerate stupid shit when you're there. In a concert, you're just kind of like, there's no difference except for the fact that you're sitting in a chair and instead of a screen, you see like a stage with people, and I can't get immersed. I can't fully immerse myself. And that's why I watch shows and movies. So I can literally pretend I'm the main character and then take on a new identity for that hour and a half. You know, it's like,
that's super interesting to me because I do not have that when I'm watching, like I was watching. I was watching.
You don't become the main character, bro.
No, dude, no,
wow,
not at all.
Interesting. What happens? What do you?
It's so like I was just binged watch the we've spoken about Peaky Blinders before, right?
Yeah.
There's a new TV show which is made by the same like director and writer, so it's done in a very similar style. It kind of has like it's about the Special Air Service, which is like the special forces part of the Royal Air Force, the UK military. And it's about their formation in the Second World War, how they were formed in like I think they were formed in fucking Egypt, and they were fighting the Italians and Germans in Egypt in World War II. And they've done this TV series where they're these guys, and they basically like they make this TV show, and they've got like, you know, it's like it's olden style, but they've got like rock music and fucking punk music playing, so it's like super cool. But I'm watching it, and I'm watching it. I'm definitely not like that. I'm not like I'm watching the main character, and I'm like, I'm watching it, but I'm not thinking of it as myself.
Well, okay, so I guess maybe it depends on the kind of movie. Like either way, I don't know if every movie I'm immersed as the main character, but either way, like I'm immersed in the story. Like I'm in there, and like the only thing that matters during that time in the movie, if I'm actually clocked in, is that movie. Like nothing else in the world matters. Like I mean, for that period of time, I'm involved. And same with like games. When I play like certain video games, if I'm really into it and it requires your attention, like the only thing that matters on earth is that time. It's like part of the reason, like, so like I had a couple people, when I tell them I do YouTube, they ask immediately if I do gaming. And I'm like, no, like I don't really play games. But then I was like, okay, like what games would I play? And I think about this because like gaming is a big world. It's a good place to go if you want to build up a brand there, because like that's good, easy opportunities for sponsorships, branding, whatever, right? So I want to do it, but I'm like, what game could I play that could be entertaining and fun, could have clips come from it, and it's like not going to be boring as shit for someone, and like for myself not to get bored. So like I thought about Pokemon, but then I was like, that's not going to work. It's just too boring. It's too slow. I don't want to play it some days. And like for Pokemon, like I got to be ready to play and wanting to play for it to be entertaining. There's not a whole lot to say either. So like, what can I do? And I really thought about it, and I realized that I fucking love zooming around the city on these electric scooters and bikes. Like I love that shit, because I feel like I'm in a game. I feel like I'm playing Ready Player One, or like I'm in Star Wars, and I'm like flying around because like there's beautiful buildings everywhere. And I'm literally zooming, right? Like I'm going like 20 something miles per hour, and I was, this is fun. Like I could do this. I could play like a game where it's like maybe like a futuristic metaverse style racing game. And then I was like, bro, here's the thing. That's a simple fucking game to you could like make that almost like if you just have like the proper engineers. It's just way less details. Like you just need like, I don't know, even like a Mario Karts, bro. Like those games are fun as fuck. You can take clips, and also you can make your best clips and just put it on the top, and then have like your best clips from the driving at the bottom, and pretend you're just that good, and you happen to drop alpha at the same time you do a massive like dub in the race, you know?
Okay, well, how about this? Instead, what you do, you strap a GoPro to your head, and you figure out how to link it to your phone, and you live stream yourself, literally in real life, just whizzing around Seattle.
I would love to, but Seattle's got shit for like my internet will go in and out as I'm streaming it. But that's actually a funny idea. That would be interesting to do that. Like it's fun as fuck, bro. It's really, really fun, especially at night when there's lights everywhere. Like that's why I love the city so much, because I remember I would be like a kid driving into the city with my family's car, and we drive through Atlanta or something, and we just see all the lights from the city. I was like, wow, I want to live there one day. So like now, like when I'm here, very often, when I'm probably like 5 times a week when I'm walking outside, I'm just like, fuck yeah,
dude,
like, city is so dope.
Because it's in like, is this your first time living in a city?
A real city, yeah. I lived in Charleston, but that was a tiny city. This is a big city, like a real city. So my first time, yeah.
And like, because I have the exact same feeling when I'm in London. Like and this is why, like, when people are like, "Do you want to move somewhere else?" I'm like, "Fuck no!" Like all last week, you're kind of in the middle of London when big buildings, and there's just the fucking buzz. The fucking buzz is like you feel, it makes you feel alive. Like, I don't know, I just feel absolutely alive. But at the same time,
buildings, bro.
The buildings are just insane.
Ceiling to floor, windows, it's like, oh
like it's super, super, super cool, and I love it. I thought what you said was interesting about how you feeling when you're like gaming or watching a film, that you feel for that hour and a half, however long, you're just completely there in that zone. And I have the same, and it's funny because I don't like gaming, because I have previously done, I have gamed, like I could very easily get into gaming. I know that that's kind of the bit of the problem, where I find this stuff this to me is like gaming. This is addictive to me. Like I fucking love doing it.
Okay, this also is for me too.
And it exactly, it is a game, and like we've been speaking about, it is like we're learning the rules of the game, and every time you learn another rule, it's like, okay, well, what's the next one? Where do I get to the next cheat code? What are they? And that's to me is like there's nothing more fun than that. But I have the same feeling of like feeling like there's nothing else where I feel like I'm the main character. I realized there's a feeling. It's when I'm playing golf. Like when I'm playing golf.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, because it's like I'm in a game. Like I'm literally, I'm the main. I am actually the main character. So that is
you really are.
All the main character. I have full control over what I do. But for those like 4 hours, 5 hours, you know, this thing just doesn't exist. Even though I'm using it to check my yardages and stuff, could not give a single fuck of like never ever check it for texts. Like it just doesn't, for me, it's just I'm in the mode, I'm in the game, and I'm like playing, and that's like, I guess that's the same for everyone that does those things. The same with sport. That is why sport is like so cool, because for that moment you're the main character. You're the main player. And
and here's the thing, it's also interesting because like for a while, like depending on your self-confidence level, like that sucks too. Like that's draining actually. Like when you realize the attention's on you and like it's your time. Like I struggle with this playing soccer growing up. In fact, I struggle with it so much that sometimes I'm shocked that I played college soccer because of how much anxiety I had before the games. But like we'd show up on game day and I'm good to go. As soon as the whistle blows, my adrenaline spikes, right? Like, as everybody's does, and I get exhausted within like 5 minutes. And then it takes me like another 10, 15 minutes before I'm like, okay, like we're in the game, I'm fine. But the first few minutes is exhausting because like I can't handle like the pressure of like the anticipation of it. And so for a long time, I struggled with that just in all aspects, you know, like whenever like the high pressure is on, the anticipation is there. That's when I wouldn't crumble, but I would definitely feel the pressure. And over time, I think you get better at that. That's no doubt. That's why like teenagers probably all like why a ton of Jesus Christ, a ton of teenagers struggle with like getting their dick hard before they like do the deed, you know, because that anticipation and like the anxiety before. And I feel like that becomes less of a problem as you get older because you just you don't give a fuck anymore, and B, you just like have handled yourself in more like high stress situations. And like yesterday I was in a big meeting and I had like this pitch style thing and I was like really testing myself. I was like, okay, I'm going against like a shark here. And I've never really like tested myself to this level in a business setting before. Like, here we go. And I literally just like showed up and like did my thing and just like leaned into what I knew and what I could speak on. And so I wouldn't fumble over my words and stuff like that, and crushed it, bro. And I was like, holy shit. I just like went in there and like there was a little bit of jitters and stuff, but it really is one of those things that you just get more comfortable with over time. Some of it due to age, some of it just due to experience and like how much you've done.
Yeah, mate, massively. Like, it takes time. Like you can't, I said this the other day, like you can't buy retrospective life experience. It's the one thing you can't buy. Like, there is just a benefit to having time in the game. And all of those, everything you said is like totally right. Like confidence comes with putting yourself in the situation over and over and over again. And especially when you're young and you're feeling these feelings for the first time, and you know, there's insecurities, you know, there's all these emotions that you've not felt before, and all these different psychological challenges. And yeah, it's a fucking those teenage years are an absolute minefield.
They are, bro. And honestly, like I don't particularly look back and like want to go back to, like when you look back on those, like would you go, you remember how those people say like I would trade all my money just to go back to this age? Like I'm not sure what I'm gonna think about that, because right now at least it's not that far, it's not that long ago for me. Like I can still relatively remember all those experiences. So for me, if someone offered me okay, actually now I'm thinking about it, if I could go back to like, would you go back to 15 knowing what you know now though? Like you gotta hack all the systems, but it would be like 2022 but you're 15. Would you go back?
Yeah. I would go back to 12. I would go back. I would go back to. I would do anything to live my life again. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, that's really interesting.
Because I've had like, I genuinely look at everything I've had and I'm like, I feel extremely grateful. I feel like we have one swing at this at life, and if you had the opportunity to go back, I would to double that.
Yeah.
I can't complain. I had a great childhood.
True. Well, yeah.
You risk losing
my
the things you
childhood
have
was
now.
fine. My childhood was fine. It was good. Okay, well, here's the final story, just to like bring it up real quick, because we pretty much done here, but just because this is like a quick thing. Well, not a quick thing, but we've kind of talked about this with other companies already. So we had Twitter do their mass layoff 50% a few days or couple weeks ago. Now we have Facebook doing the same thing, laying off a massive portion of their workforce. 10 to 30% sounds like in the first day. No doubt, because Meta has lost like $5 billion or something in the last year. But also it's funny because we keep seeing all these posts about it as if people are surprised. I'm like, guys, they're literally building for a future that's like years, if not decades away. So like, are you actually surprised that they're losing money? Like, don't you think that they knew that would be happening? Like when people were like, what are your, like I remember there was some podcast where he was on, they were like, what do you think about losing this much money? And he was kind of like, yeah, like we knew that would happen. Like, there was it us who said it on Tea Time. Actually, it was like, you'll find the pioneers when you find the people with arrows in their back. Like those are the pioneers, because they ate all the shit and you know, carved out that path for other people to follow. That's pretty much what we're seeing right now.
Big time. Yeah, like that's an amazing like an analogy. Like Elon Musk is a great example of that, right? Dude keeps on putting himself in the firing line, like, but everyone's aiming at his back. Like he's at the forefront. So yeah, just nothing but respect for those guys.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, it's pretty wild though, and everyone's getting laid off. So if you're getting laid off and you're in tech right now, don't be surprised. Who haven't been laid off, I wouldn't say like expect it, but like I would be expecting it if I was in tech. I would just be going in expecting it. And like Tom said, the more you know, the more of an asset you are. Like the more helpful things you're able to contribute, whether that's skills or knowledge, you're more effective and you're more helpful in general. And like if people like you and you're in general helpful as fuck, then you'll probably stick around. But if you could be replaced by someone else, then I don't know. In my opinion, like all those factors matter, and like it's what contributes you as like a necessary person on any team. And you pretty much have to stack your skills and knowledge for that. So it takes intentional work, and you actually have to show up and do the things. Like a lot of times I'll think I'm lazy. And I would say a lot of times like I am, but there are still things I need to get done that do get done. And sometimes I'm like, man, like other people are getting way more done than me. And then I'm like, yeah, but like I'm getting way more done than a lot of other people too. And I think there's always going to be someone else putting in more work than you. And for me, like I have a natural laziness that can take over. And I know there's people out there who like don't succumb to that. So I'm like, for a fact, they're getting more done than me. But that's just the place I'm in right now. Maybe in 6 months, my perspective will change and it's been way easier for me to say no to certain things, and I'll work 24/7, or I'll take, all my time off. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in the future. The only thing I can pretty much decide right now is like what we're literally doing in the month around me. And that's something that kind of came because of the bear market. And we've seen like a lot of my friends who we kind of started this journey with in NFT land have disappeared, especially on TikTok. A lot of them are just gone. And so because of that, I was sitting there thinking one day, I was like, wow, I bought like half these people NFTs, like as art pieces, thinking just for like support tokens mainly, but like I figured they would still be here in a year. And it got me thinking, because like, what was the point of me doing that? Like, what was the point of me supporting those artists and like buying their art and stuff if they're just going to give up 6 months later? And I realized like it wasn't really about that. Like the only thing you can kind of control and the only things that like actually matter in a sense are like what's happening. Like, how am I supposed to say this? Like it mattered at that time for that time period for me to support that person and like be in there, for me to be able to do the live streams I did with those people and have fun content for those 2 months. Like me buying an NFT made sense for that period of time. And a year later, it's just like a distant memory now, but like, it's okay that that's what it is now. I guess is kind of the point I'm making. I'm not really sure where I'm going with that.
No, I get it. Like, I've said this before, all of the expenditure, the losses that we have made over the last like year, they are the tuition fees. They are our MBA.
Wait. Yeah. Oh shit. Hold on. Sorry. I had the wrong slide up. Fuck. Let me move this over. All right. There we go. Okay. Is this in relate to what you're talking about?
Well, it's related to what you were talking about. This is probably this is Justin Welsh, who's the solopreneur, who's like has basically exploded on LinkedIn over the last couple of years. He's exploding on Twitter now. Gives the most kind of practical advice to being an entrepreneur or a solopreneur who's trying and build a brand. This is basically saying, so what my point is that based on this, like what Cade is doing, what myself and Cade are doing, which is putting ourselves out there, building our personal brands. This is basically saying, so what my point is that based on this, like what Cade is doing, what myself and Cade are doing, which is putting ourselves out there, building our personal brands, this is basically saying, so my point is that based on this, like what Cade is doing, what myself and Cade are doing, which is putting ourselves out there, building our personal brands, That is the best buffer to all of this shit that is going on right now. Having total ownership of you as a business, and having income streams that, you know, look at all of the people who are the influencers, the entrepreneurs, the people that have their own businesses. They are the ones that they're not getting fired.
Yeah, no, it's a fact.
So
yeah,
there's a lesson
that's actually a big factor right there. Yeah, if you run your own company, you only have yourself to blame if everything goes down under, or if you stop pivoting, stop adjusting, stop innovating your shit. I mean, like if you look at my business 6 months ago, it's very different than today. If you look at my business 2 weeks ago, it's kind of different than today. But you pretty much, it's like a work in progress 24/7. And I don't know, in my opinion, okay, to answer the question of like the title, where should you be investing your money? Dude, I mean, yes, so like you should be diversifying a little bit. But like for me, I'm an all in, all out type of dude for up until literally like a few weeks ago. When I started getting that stable income again, I have been super risk on. Like I didn't have a single cent in savings. Like I'm telling you everything. Like when I got into crypto and NFTs, same shit, guys. Like you heard the story, pulled out all my money from my S&P, all my money from my Roth IRA, all my money from everything went straight into a crypto account. And I just like started my crypto journey. That's just how I am with that kind of risk. And because of that, it makes you desperate to win, which is great. And I've done that, and I've lived that style of trying to like win that way. And I think that works for a period of time. And then this is an experiment. I think if I can change the base of that, I can achieve more with more stability and more effective, I guess. So I'm going to try it out, which is essentially to like be more risk off in a sense, like basically build up my savings again and build up that stability, and then operate from there. Like after just kind of like not laying low, but just building a base for a little while, and then operating from that base of more stability to see like what happens and like how the business and how my content can change when there's like a bag on the side, rather than me being all in, like risk on, kind of how we're seeing with people in crypto right now. It's being over leveraged in general. And I was like, I've been over leveraged for like 4 years running right now. Like it is exhausting to be over leveraged. I am so tired of being like, wow, I'm one mistake away from being monumentally fucked because I'm all in on this. And if this goes wrong, I'm screwed. And I'm like, okay, like I kind of want to see what it's like, because all the people who are winning, like the people who are 5 steps above us, Tom, are the people with 100K in the bank. And they're able to do things that you normally wouldn't be able to do without 100K in the bank. And I'm like, that would be interesting, you know, to operate like that.
I have like, so my eyes are set on the recession in 9 to 11 years time. So I don't give a fuck about what's happening in the next year, because I don't have the liquidity that's going to make life-changing amounts of money for me. Like for me, life-changing amounts of money is like getting above $50 million. And that will be my aim over the next 10 years, is to accumulate a load of fucking cash to deploy at, you know, bargain basement assets in 10 years time. Like simple as that. Like the Hormozy statement of investing in the S&P 500, that should be our entire aim. Like I don't give a fuck what's happening in the markets right now. Like it's trying to figure out how I can become a cash like generator has to be the only focus. Because there's a lot of it out there, and accumulating it over the next decade. And then which is what's happening right now. Like we're seeing a lot of people who have been doing that for the last 10 years, and they are, over the next 12 months, these motherfuckers are about to make the life changing money that's going to happen in the next kind of like crypto bull cycle. And I'm actually very, very well aware that I might miss out on the biggest moment. The biggest crypto moment is quite realistically going to be the buy-ins that you can get next year. If I can somehow get myself into a position where I've got a fair bit, I've got some cash, like where, as in I've kind of got some buffer, I'm definitely going to be deploying that over the next into crypto over the next like 9 months. But like the big aim is really just to be, how do I focus on building a business over the next 5 years?
Yeah, it is fucking, like, I keep saying this because it's just so shocking to me, like how much my brain has flipped from, like, I just remember so vividly saying, like, it's like funny to me that I said it on camera. It's just like, I just literally remember telling you, like, I'm not a business guy. Like, I just don't, that's just not me. Like, I literally remember saying that, and like, you just sitting there, like, looking at me. And then now I'm sitting here, like, that's the only thing I think about.
Dude, I was 20, was 23 when that kind of moment happened for me. I mean, you're 24, right?
24. I just turned. Yeah, I'm like 24 and a half. So yeah, I guess it's like a timing thing maybe, or a maturity thing.
Yeah, it happened to me, and it was like, well, actually, I was like I said, I've got 10 years ahead of you. I've got 10 years on you. The world was a very fucking different place like 15 years ago. But it was like, yeah, it was kind of 10, 11 years ago where, like, so Instagram just started. Facebook was still the biggest thing ever, like just getting kicked in. Like, I don't even think Facebook ads had started at that point. So world was a very different point. Meta is the businessman. He's the alpha. But yeah, I think when the fucking door opens and you can see inside, it's like, whoa, okay, I fucking get it now.
Yeah.
And it's,
no, for sure.
There's no shutting that door.
Especially when it has to do with money, and you're like, wow, that affected my money a lot. Like, I should do more of that. Like, that's a big one too, because you're like, holy shit, I didn't know what was possible. Yeah, no, that's a fact. Yeah, the business side is very interesting. Lucy also misses you.
I'm actually going to give a shout out to her tonight because she's been bugging me about not spending time with her. So,
well, you're about to get your wish, my friend.
Yeah, I know. I'm spending the next 2 days with her. So
nice. Hell yeah, baby. Hell yeah. And look, my dad's job hunt is going well-ish. He's still looking at a bunch of places. The cool thing is he's looking at some crypto and crypto and like NFT Web3 stuff, because I think he realized for himself that he was like, damn, I thought I was safe in that job. You know, like, I mean, it was a tech startup that he was in and he was managing at. But like, I think for himself, he realized, he's like, wow, I'm at the peak of my career and I'm at the top of my industry. And like, I got fired. You know, he's like, I think he realized, like, holy shit, there's like, not only is there competition, but like, they don't give a fuck at all. And he's like, bro, I'm literally at the top of my game, top of the game. And I got fired. And I think for himself, he's like, holy shit. And I've just been trying to get him to make videos. I'm like, dude, I just don't get it. Like, you literally are being paid to speak to people. How could you possibly not start a YouTube when your job is to talk to people? That makes zero sense at all. I don't know why he doesn't do it. He will eventually, because
good. Yeah, dude, it's a very, very sobering lesson to learn that, like, your parents, who, you know, you kind of assume are going to be good, perhaps aren't. And like, that's like, I'm without a doubt, like, probably my biggest my kind of like the biggest thing that I want to do is make sure that I can look after my parents out, like, at all costs.
Really? So that's one of your top things?
That's my very top thing, like literally the top thing.
Very interesting. Luke says he just got fired, but he's looking to play it safe, but eventually love to be in Web3. Yeah, dude. Yeah, just start stacking those skills. Start connecting with people. 100%.
Yeah. Well, that's what, dude. Luke is one of our team members. We you know, we've hired him on. He's in our sales team. He's our, like, basically head of sales. Dude's got to bring us into business, and we Gucci. But he's a dude that I've worked in the same, like, tech jobs as him. You know, when I got made redundant 2 years ago, you just kind of think you'd think that it's never happening, but the reality is that, like, to hit targets in tech companies is really fucking tough. It's really, really fucking tough. So if it's one quarter of not hitting targets, heads are rolling. Heads are rolling. So it's brutal. It's fucking brutal out there. Like, that's one thing I didn't know. If, like, I would have known, like, at your age, I did not fucking know that. It was another 8 years before I learned that lesson. So you're having so much insight and kind of wisdom that you're gathering, that you can you'll be able to see this. But the game has to be trying as hard as you can to move yourself towards a self-sustaining ecosystem.
Yeah. 100%. I think in the beginning too, a lot of people think they can't because there's overhead costs and stuff. You can pretty much bootstrap for the first couple of years of anything. I feel like in the beginning, you can and have
no excuse.
I'm sitting there. I'm like, bro, I had no overhead costs for, like, ever, you know, and, like, I still relatively don't have too many. But it's because, like I said, I'm, like, super over leveraged. Like, the money I do spend, I guess, is, like, the way I look at it is, like, tuition a little bit. until I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, like I've learned enough to be able to be like stable within myself to kind of just go here and now start to outsource different things. And I start slowly, you know, with my thumbnails. Thumbnails have gotten really good from being outsourced. At some point that'll move into editing once I've kind of like got to a point where I'm like, okay, this time. And I think that's gonna be really cool to see, especially for me when I don't have you editing as a part of my day. That's going to be interesting to see what that is. And I'm just pushing me to do it faster and faster. I'm like, I know it's the money, like to have an editor for the amount of content I'm putting out. Like I need to be making a fucking lot of money to be able to, cause I want to hire him and be like, yo, you need to spend like 12 hours learning about me so that you can understand me so that we can edit properly and like understand my brand and stuff. So like for that, I need to bring in a guy and be like, okay, you're with me for 6 months. Here's your salary. You're not going to get fired. You're with me for 6 months or a year or whatever. Like that's what I want. I have no interest in like getting a one-off or like some guy who kind of makes videos sometimes for me. I don't have interest in that. Like with my thumbnail guy, I'm trying to make sure that we have a really solid relationship so he doesn't leave me because he's really good and everyone's been asking me about him. So I don't want to give him up. I've been very, very, very selective with who I give him to just because, it's because I don't want to lose him. He's really good. So
you're doing the right things. You fucking leveled up massively. Like I'm really glad that it's so obvious to see. Like, but you're getting the results. You're getting the results from taking a step back, looking at what you've done, thinking this was good, this wasn't that good, this worked, this didn't work. What should I do now? And you like literally did a refocus. You were like, I can start doing more of this. I can start doing less of that, and I can make this better. And I'm make that better, and you fucking have. And look at the results. Like you've fucking killed it. Like it's so cool to see. And this is the game, like leveling up, like pushing yourself. It's awesome to see.
Thanks, man. You too. I mean, we're both crushing it, I think. And I think there'll be really cool things. If you guys are here with us right now, thank you for being here, especially in the stream. But you are indeed fucking early. Tom's NFT. I hope your NFTs are coming out at some point, either this year or some point like Q1 and Q2 of next year. But I'm really excited for that, guys.
They're coming out in the next within the next kind of 4 to 6 weeks, because we are going to be dropping the first cohort starting January 1st. So it's going to be like it's as it has always been, only 111 tokens. We're going to be doing a full year of like accountability. So it's essentially going to be business life coaching, physical like health coaching, relationship coaching, and people being surrounded by other people wanting to absolutely kill their goals.
Dude, and also I was going to say, like, now that that's becoming more and more real and our skills and worlds are both colliding in a good way, I feel like this business model that you kind of came up with as far as like the idea of networking and connecting, which hasn't been as big of a pillar in my brand, yours is going to pay off really well, because I didn't think about this until just now, is that like at some point in the future when we're all like way more legit, the skills that we have will be more legit and dialed in. So like at that point, the networking is going to be like massively important. And that's kind of what I didn't think about, was because like before I thought about it in the sense of like, but if I do it myself, I have like all this, I learn all this stuff and I become so dope. But I didn't think about the fact that like everyone will also be doing that. And at a certain point, they'll be so good at their shit that like, of course you're going to want to be networked with them and connected with them. So like in 2 years, when your brand's more established and people are like, okay, like why would I buy into the Summit Club? It's like, oh wait, like Kate's in there, like Nikki's in there, Zerk's in there. And they all have their own, empires of their own. And yet they're in this little world and they're hosting a mastermind in 2 weeks. And all you have to do is hold one of our tokens, one of this token, and like buy this, whatever. Right. And like, that's the only things to get in. And I'm like, wait a second, like that's going to be fucking lit. That's going to actually be really, really cool. And like we're making all these courses. Like one of these courses I'm really excited to make at some point is like the pitching yourself. And I think there's a way to put a Web3 spin on it, just because like I've been successful with it. And I'm like, I listen to like 10 pitches a week and they're all terrible. All of them, 10 out of 10, every single one. I've maybe listened to 3 ever that are good, where I'm sitting there at the end of it or within, the first 45 seconds, not asleep. Like that's how bad the pitches are, guys. Like there's such little, like if you're even remotely good, you will stand out. That's how sad it is in NFT land right now. Like the caliber of person we're speaking with isn't that high level, dude. Like I literally learned that yesterday in that meeting, when I realized like when she like hit me with a couple like fire off questions, like rebuttaling something I said. I was like, whoa, I haven't had that experience in a while. Like when you say something, because they're like typically you're not dealing with monsters who've done it before, and so like because of that, the competition's low. So if you're a Web3 company or a project or an NFT project, like you need to dial in your fucking pitch and you need to figure out how to speak persuasively. Like within the first 30 seconds, I need to be salivating at wondering what your offer is because you've painted such a beautiful picture of what I need to have solved. But if you're just sitting there and you're like, hi, we're this Web3 agency, we do this, we do that. And like and I'm sitting there like, bro, I don't give a fuck. I already don't want to work with you. You know, and like it's really, really important. I don't mean to be, but when you're pitching someone, like you have got to outline what, like your pitch should change depending on who you're talking to. And I'm not seeing that often. In podcasts, the amount of podcasts I've gone on, if I've done 10 podcasts, one of them had a podcast host who prepared, had questions that are more interesting than the last one I went on, and dive into something that maybe I haven't talked about as much before. And like that, dude, you can do that by spending 30 minutes and just watching a couple podcasts they've been on, looking at their content a little bit. And it shocks me and it baffles me like how little effort that people put in when you only need to put in a tiny bit to stand out.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like for me when I do my podcast. So I put in about 2 to 3 hours of research. Like,
yeah,
and I come prepared with written down questions. The biggest challenge is actually just fucking being able coming up with the questions is really easy, but then it's like articulating those questions without basically reading it is really hard. So that's one thing I'm challenging with. And I've do you know Stephen Bartlett? He's like a British he does this podcast called The Diary of a CEO.
Yes. Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I've noticed, so he has the way, because he clearly does the same thing. He writes all these questions, but in the way to make it sound like it's seamless, you have to kind of write it out to make it sound like a normal sentence. And you can see that what he does is he's got an iPad like off to the side, and he'll be like, basically when he's talking about the question, he'll be like glancing at it, and he'll be kind of like reading it, but then like looking away, making it look like it's natural, but then glancing back. And it's subtle, but like if you're thinking you're just trying to, I can relate to that now because I'm fucking trying to do it myself.
Yeah, crushing it by the way.
Yeah, it's but it's fun. It's the difference. It's the difference in quality counts. Like quality fucking counts.
And podcasting is a great skill to have, by the way. I made a video about this the other day. Podcasting is without a doubt the most underrated thing you could be doing with your time, especially if you're sitting around going, I don't know what to do. The podcast is the answer. It's like, you will be surprised who will come onto your show. Like I shot a DM to Crypto Wendy, who's got like a fucking ton of subscribers, like a really, really relevant YouTuber who's crushing it. Just like shot a cold hard DM just straight at her Twitter or something. I didn't really expect anything, or email or whatever. Like I just an email out to her, got a response, and like I was like, oh wow, that was easy, you know. And like people are like, you never know who's going to connect you. Like the other day, I went onto a podcast with a couple guys who were just starting out. I just liked the content, and I went on their show. They did an amazing podcast. It's one of my favorites I've been on. And I connected with the guy who they never would have gotten without a connection like that, you know, just a random networking connection. I literally called them on the way back to the gym. I was like, hey guys, you asked me if I could find you someone. Would you want to interview this guy? And they were like, oh my fucking God. They're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I was like, dude, like that's the power of like networking. And I was like, holy shit, that was actually really lit. And like everybody wins. Cause like I asked the guy, I was like, yo, like, would you want to go on the show? I had a great time. You haven't been on a show in a while. I'm busy the next 3 weeks, but like you should go on this show. And he was like, hell yeah. And then that connection happened. And I was like, wow. That was really, really cool. And yeah, I don't know. I just been really excited the last few weeks.
Like networking for any of you guys listening, and this will be like kind of ring true for some of you, but to me, because I had the same exact thing happen today to me. A guy that I met at an event last week. He actually no. So one of the guys that me and Cade know really well. So our friend Raul texted me and was like, dude, you like this crypto company is running an event tonight. And they have lost their videographer. He was like, do you know anyone? They can basically, it's an investors event, so they've got fuckloads of money. The budget doesn't matter. And I was like, do you know what? I was like thinking, technically, I could probably have done it myself. But like, I'm obviously doing the podcast with Cade, which I would never flake on. So I was like, well, shit, like, who could I go to that might know someone? Just the guy that I met last week. I was like, oh shit, I know that guy. He's in the music industry. He's been in the TV industry. I'm surely he knows someone. Text him. He's like, dude, yeah, sure. That I've got this guy. He can do it for $1,000. Do you want me to flip him his number? And I was like, yeah. So I hooked them up, and it's like, just from going and putting yourself out there. And this is people that I've only met in the last 4 months. And it's like, it's being able to text someone and have a solution, or know someone that has a solution. That's networking.
Yeah. And there's a way, like speaking of like the way we were talking about with the narrative presentation sales, there's also like ways you can word things like in a way where it doesn't feel as much like, hey, will you please do this for me? It's like, hey, like this is a cool opportunity and an interesting opportunity, even though like it's not that it's not that amazing. But
the real secret. The secret is asking someone to do you a favor. Kate,
yeah,
Kate, can you do me a favor? And
no.
when you ask, can you get me a Celsius sponsorship? No, of course you can't.
Dude, I'm working on that.
I know that's burning. That's burning. But so if you go to someone and you want something from them, and if you ask them if they can do you a favor, what that is doing is you're giving them an option to basically be empowered to either say no, where that makes them basically be unhelpful, or two, be like, yes, I could be helpful and I can do a good deed, which makes the person who's doing the favor feel good. So they typically always say yes and feel good about it. So next time
they'll kind of depend on like what your relationship is with them, right? Like if it's a random that I don't know well, I just would not respond.
Oh yeah, of course. To be completely honest, like it actually works best for like new relationships. Like for me,
really?
Yeah, fuck it. Yeah, because for my friends.
Bro, I'm not doing you a favor if I'm probably not, at least, unless there's some kind of. I mean,
no, I think like, but okay,
it depends.
It depends who they are. But if they're a person, like the point is, if it's a person of influence that you want to garner a relationship with and grow a relationship with, you need to do something to develop that relationship. The best way to do that is by doing something that like there is a transmission of trust. And the kind of game is perhaps you don't actually need them to do anything, but all you're doing is using it as a reason to engage with them even further, deepen that relationship. So it's like, if I go to Liam, dude, can you do me a favor? Like, I don't need to. I just be like, Liam, can you send me this? Liam, can you do me this? Like, he's a friend. The same with you. You don't need to do me a favor. But with new people that you have a kind of a looser relationship with, but you want to maybe make it deeper. You kind of, if you position it and ask that way, they're more likely to reciprocate by doing it. So that's so
I guess probably not make it as big, not make it like a huge thing, just something that's like relatively not too much work, but it's like it just opens up that door. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that is a good kind of like a mindset, I guess. Yeah, because I mean that's literally exactly what happened with that podcast show that I went on. They were just like really cool. I like their effort that they put in. I like the energy. I thought it brought a great conversation out. And honestly, if my audio wasn't choppy, because we used Restream and they had the same, I think it might be if I go on anyone's Restream, it's just my connection with Restream. So I just need to have that URL thing in every time I use Restream because my audio is choppy. God, I was so pissed about that because like it was a great episode. Would have had so many clips, but it's just terrible audio on my end, all the clipping. So that sucks. But like their show was so good and I really appreciate the effort they put in. So like I just connected them and they didn't even ask me. Well, I guess they did ask me for a favor. They're just like, hey, like if there's anyone that you think should be on the show that would have a great conversation, like please let us know. And yeah, like I guess that is kind of how it happened. But it wasn't a big deal for me, I guess, because I was like, oh, like that would be cool. Really, really easy for me to just send a DM real quick. And yeah, that is really interesting. Now I think about it, to like word it that way. I didn't really think about it that way.
It's basically a psychological trick. Like you position it to empower them and also make them. It's a very, very easy way to make them feel like they've had a good exchange with you. So I just use it as a basic way of like, if I want something from someone, I always position it first with like, oh, dude, can you do me a favor?
Dude, that's actually dope. And guys, make sure you click the like button for that bit of alpha. I'm going to drop one last piece of advice as well for my own life alpha that I've kind of figured out about myself recently too. Make sure you click the like button, subscribe, obviously, follow Tom. His stuff's down below in the description. And this is the one thing I'll leave you with, because the other day I was in a meeting and I was in the meeting and it was to help plan out the event I'm speaking at. And I got a phone call and I didn't realize who it was. And it was like the restaurant that I started working at. And I was like, hey, what's up? And they're like, hey, like you coming in today? I was like, yeah, I'll be there at 4, like normal. And they're like, oh, no, your schedule's at 3. And I was like, no, that's not possible. I was like, I've always been at 4. I've never not been at 4. And like all my scheduling up until now and from the corner also at 4. Like there's no chance I'm at 3. And I was like, no, like you're at 3. And I looked at it. It was like, sure enough, a random 3 o'clock shift. And I was like, all right, well, like I'm not going to be there till 4. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'll be there. Just like, give me a second. So I went back to the meeting, finished the meeting, got there at 4, like my normal time. And on the way there, I was like scootering to the restaurant. And I'm like, okay, what is the angle I play here? Do I come in? I'm an hour late. So like, that's fun. So I'm like, should I come in an hour late and just be apologetic? Do I go right to the manager? Do I go straight to the bar? Like, what's my play? How do I like play this situation here where I pretty much just fucked up, but it's also not a big deal. And so I was like, okay, well, I've never tried this before. And I was like, I'm just going to pretend like absolutely nothing changed. Like nothing is wrong. I came in exactly when I was supposed to. And I came in, like marched up right to my manager, like, yo, dude, like, what's up, man? Like, I just need you to, like something about like the schedule or whatever. I just need you to like do your override password thing. And he's like, oh yeah, man. And like did it. 10 seconds later, I'm good. I went straight to the bar, greeted all the, like my bartender just like said hi to everyone, just started doing the normal stuff. Not a single word was said to me, bro. Like no one even realized, like it just didn't matter. Cause like, I think it's because of that energy. You come in, like you just come in sure of yourself. You come in like, that's the kind of the lesson I'm saying. Like you just go in with whatever mentality you want to go in with, and you leave with that confidence. But people just don't. They're not trying to bother you most of the time. Like when's the last time you went out of your way to try and bother someone for something, unless you're just fucking around with them, right? And I realized like that's pretty much the case for everybody. Like unless there's something really really wrong or you really fucked up, pretty much like people just don't want to rock the boat in general. That's like the majority of human beings on Earth. So like you can kind of just like get away with shit like that.
Well,
like,
how much time. How much did you turning up an hour late impact like everyone else?
Not too much. But that's the thing. Like most people, if you're an hour late, you're going to go right to me. I'm so sorry. That will never happen again. It's not like me to be late and like all this stuff. And I was like, dog. Plus, like another thing I realized was this is probably a little bit in regards to like the show I've been watching, but like most of the time, like you can repair like pretty much any situation. Like if something goes wrong, as long as it's not like a really bad emotional thing or you really fuck someone over or betray them, like most of the time, if you mess up or something, you can earn that forgiveness back just by like showing up and like showing that you're like a good person or whatever. And so like because of that, I've been less afraid to like make a mistake or even get on someone's bad radar for a while. Cause I'm like, you can always earn that back. You can always earn someone's likeness back or their trust back, or not trust, but like you can always earn that kind of thing back. And like for my whole life, I would just like put a lot of weight on stupid shit that just, it wasn't a big deal to anyone. And in my head, I would make it feel like a big deal. I'm like, no, they're thinking about this. They're judging me the whole time. Like they think I'm this, they think I'm that. I'm not this, I'm not that. I need to make sure that they know that. And then I was like, wait, like maybe it's not a big deal. Like maybe it's fine if they think that I suck for like 2 weeks and then they forget about it 2 weeks later and then I'm fine. And I just don't need to worry about it. Like the other day, like my boss was like, damn, Cade, like you've been dropping a lot of cups. Like I've just had breaking cups, I guess. Like I just been dropping them. They're super flimsy. And she's like, you've broken a lot of cups in the last few weeks. And at first I was like, my ego flares up immediately. I'm like, no, fuck, I haven't, you know? Cause I have, I mean, I've dropped some, but like nothing like crazy. And I was going to be like, wait, hold on. Like, what are you talking about? And then I was just like, why the fuck? Like, it doesn't even matter. She's not even going to remember that she told me this in like 10 minutes. She's like literally going to forget. And then like, I'm just going to not drop a cup for the next week and I'll be fine. And so instead of arguing my point, which I would argue was right, I was just like, fuck it, bro. Like she can just think I suck. I don't care. Like it doesn't affect me anymore.
Yeah.
In that sense, partially because for me, like the monetary side is like, if I get fired, I'll just find another, it doesn't like affect me that way. So I think part of it is because I don't need that money and job as much that I can take more chances like that. But it's like a good lesson worth noting in general. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm surprised that you said my mustache is hot, not Tom's. I appreciate that. But like it does go. Oh, Jesus Christ, we have a fucking scammer in here.
Sexfind.xyz.
Jesus Christ. They're about to spam. Here we go. But no, the point of that is like, it's interesting what confidence can do. Like in me watching that show of Lucifer, where like, because he has unlimited money, he can more or less do whatever he wants because he's not dependent on anyone. And it like really just brought to light that, you know, especially with my business, like because I had my business, Jesus Christ, another one, because I have my business that like makes me money. Oh my God, bro. All right, we're good.
He's fucking. Why is it just pouring in?
It's always at the very end. It's always like the last 2 minutes. But anyways, because of that, because the comments he had, but the thing is like he gets away with things, and it's like, and I also saw with like NFT land, you get forgiven for like things that are even like a big deal. And I was like, oh, like you can have like little mess ups and not like put too much weight on it too. Because we've seen people like Beanie who like really fuck you up and like actually do something evil and like they get forgiven even over time. And I was like, oh, like maybe I don't need to put as much weight on like making a mistake or like trying something and it failing. And it kind of transcends everything in life. Like maybe I can try this new business venture and maybe it doesn't work, or maybe like people put their faith in me and I tried it and it literally just took an L. And I was like, maybe that's like okay, and I can just keep fighting from that, and I'm not as scared to like make a mistake from that sense. So it's kind of like the main message there in a long roundabout way. No, you really can in this world. Me and Tom are actually going to be starting a rug project, Free Mint, It's going to be called Joy Summit, and you can invest in it. It's only $6,000. We'll definitely fucking wreck you if you buy that. But yeah, anyways, guys, that is pretty much the end of tea time. Unless Tom, you got some final words or final thoughts.
Dude, it's been an absolute vibe as always. And yeah, like excited to see you fucking just absolutely like take it to another fucking level in the last like kind of month. So yeah, man, just everyone should stay, just be aware of what he's doing. And yeah, like
hell yeah, man.
Really, really cool.
Hell yeah.
Really cool.
Thank you, bro. George came forever. Guys, if you get to the very end, click that like button for me. Click that like button for 10K. So it looks like sign me for the Joy Summit. We will. Guys, code word. Obviously, got to be 10K. It's got to be 10K subscribers. Lit 10K on TikTok already. It's just Twitter. It's just Twitter. Once Twitter gets there, we will be 10K'd out, except for Instagram. That'll be a long time before I get to 10K on Instagram. But at some point, we'll get there. So code word 10K. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Follow Tom. All his links are down below in the description. And until next time, thank you for being here on Tea Time episode 41 or episode 40. 41 will be next week, Wednesday at 12 p.m. PST. On Twitter Spaces, partner with X2Y2, talking about whatever. Yeah. Till next time, continue on your voyage, continue to learn, and be grateful you're alive watching this video. Bye.